Good morning. There's something so nourishing about starting my days with stillness, creating a gentle yet solid space from which my day can unravel.
I needed to satisfy that itch right now. I just wanted to dramatically fall back on my bed. Okay, time to make my bed. Wow, I look very mysterious and dark here. I like it. Now to figure out which way the comforter goes, that is the hardest part of the mission. And just like that, she's all made, and it feels so satisfying. Wow. Oh, hello there. Didn't see you there. Well, now that you're in my house, look at this. This is not proper lighting, but I'm telling myself it's creative lighting. It kind of is, all right? It's like cinematic. I'm gonna talk to you with one eye in, one eye out, so I look mysterious and shit. Hi. So today I'm going to explore the crevices. I'm trying to say crevices in a very fancy way. Crevices. Crevices. Ooh, that actually sounds very sexy. Crevice is such an unsexy word. Honestly, it's so like I feel like the word crevice, I mean, it could be very poetic, but also like it sounds like when I think of crevice, it's like a dirty crevice that you need to clean. So when I say like crevices, oh, it's sexy. Okay, we're going to explore the crevices of creativity and consistency. I don't know what accent this is, but we're going with it. Wow, you really can't see me. Hi. Wow. So first and foremost, it is so important to follow your creative impulses, your creative urges. And one of mine is going upside down. Like sincerely, I love to go upside down. Like I will get impulses sometimes when I'm at restaurants to just go upside down. And typically I don't do it, but lately sometimes I have. It's because there's a part of me that's like, this is very odd to just go upside down while I'm sitting at a restaurant. But then there's a part of me that's like, let's challenge the norm. I'm so sorry about this lighting. We're gonna adjust this, guys. Here we are. This is a wee bit better. It is important to explore your creative impulses because you never know where they're gonna take you. Maybe when I'm upside down, I will just get a deep insight into my life and that can be reflected into what I create. You never fucking know, bro. So I feel like curiosity is one of the ways in which you enter the crevasse of creativity, bro. I really do. So today, let us adventure together. I'm not leaving my house, but there's so much to explore just within one space. There's so much I can be inspired by. There's so much I can create. And that's what we're gonna do. We're going to play with creativity and see spaces where we can draw inspiration from, while also I want to kind of express in a way how important consistency is. Disclaimer, everybody's different, okay? I feel like our own unique differences is what makes us so beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful to have our unique expressions. So I am not saying that my way of entering creativity is the right way, okay? It's just my way. And perhaps you may find some inspiration from it and want to draw some things from it. Fuck yeah. Perhaps you just draw some entertainment from it, and that's okay too. But yeah, consistency is so important for me. I am a sucker for a solid routine, and I feel like it supports my creativity because when I consistently show up and take care of myself, like, you know, I wake up in the morning and I do my meditation, I work out, I stretch, I've been, you know, practicing dance and doing all these things that I show up consistently before. I feel like it helps me build trust with myself because I'm setting goals and I'm meeting those goals, so I trust myself and I just feel good. Like healthy dopamine in the morning to move my body. So I really believe that consistency is the fuel that helps me ignite my creativity in a way. It helps me keep going. So last, let us eat some food, move my body, and just see what conspires today. See what unfolds, see what magic ensues, because there's honestly magic always ensuing. It's just a matter of noticing it. And we will get into that more later today, but I really feel like noticing is like the doorway into creativity. I believe the details are the doorway in which you can access all of the creativity, all of the magic that's always available. Let us do that together, alright? Onward and outward. I need to fucking eat because your girl's fucking hungry. This right here is one of the deepest sources of inspiration for me is papaya. I am a massive papaya worshiper. I swear to God, they don't call me Mariah Papaya for nothing. Nobody calls me that except for my family. But bro, this shit is so good. I'm deeply, deeply in love with it. It's like ASMR. Oh my god, this is chaotic. Okay, let's not do that. Let us cut the papaya. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see the papaya closer because you must see this beautiful creation. Look at that. Beautiful. I feel like my hands are talking. Like even just this, all right? We can find inspiration from this. Look at the beauty of this papaya. Oh my god. That is so beautiful. What the fuck, bro? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? This cannot be real life. But alas, it is. Like, how does beauty of this nature exist? Please let me know. Dude, almond butter is so good. You know, I really do be like this. Like, fucking stoked on the simple shit, and I feel like that is really magic, to be stoked on the simple mundane things because there's magic in the mundane. Look at that. Beauty, beauty, beauty. So this is my yummy papaya that I'm going to enjoy so much, but first I'd like to say a little prayer. I know that sometimes it may seem cheesy, but honestly, I do feel like it helps me ground into gratitude, enjoy the meal more, and just feels good for my heart. So I say something along the lines of this. I usually say it in my head. Thank you so, so much to Mama Nature for providing the foundation for which this meal can come into creation, to all the elements, to the plants, animals, fungi, everything that helped this meal be here now, the hands that grew this meal, that delivered this meal, my hands that cut this meal, everything that happened in order for this meal to be here right now. And may this meal nourish me so, so deeply, then nourish all that I create, and through all that I create, may that nourish the world and nourish others. That's my little prayer. And I really feel like when you think about it, it is kind of trippy. Like when you do this every day, you start to realize like, wow, so much went into making this simple thing right here. This is almond butter granola and papaya. Like so much went into making that be here right now. So many hands, so much energy just for me to consume this and to really recognize the immensity of that. It's so beautiful and inspiring. Talking about inspiration, it inspires me. And this meal is going to nourish me and then give me fuel to create. And it's just such a beautiful process. So. I will never get sick of this meal. Wow.
Beauty is something pleasurable to perceive. I'm sure you've heard the quote, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And yes, there's a part to it that speaks to our specific preferences, how we each perceive beauty in different ways, yet what if there's another deeper layer to this quote? What if there's something more speaking to beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that beauty lies within the way in which we see beauty sees the lies that we lay over reality, that our perception distorts the beauty that is innate? What if beauty is here, constantly within, deeply embedded within everything? It's just a matter of how we see it and how we hold it to be true.
So I figured since this is a video on creativity, I want to share a little poem that I wrote a couple weeks ago. To glimpse beyond the veil, to see what is. What is underneath the layer of you? What is underneath the subtle distortions replaying a fixed point of view? I feel like far more often than we realize, we seek validation in the familiar. Our impulses feel ingrained, frustrated by failed attempts to change, we feel trapped. What if this fixed feeling is a call home, a product of perception? Trapped in the mind, all to maintain an I, perpetually defined by that which we seek to find. Hide and seek, feeling tormented by how it seems. Hide and seek, no wonder why you're living inside someone else's dreams. Hide and seek, existential dread pushing you to the edge, afraid, or an awareness that this fabric is frayed. Existential dread in the head, but perhaps this is a thread, questioning not just what was said, but who has said. Who dreams, stitching the way in which it seems? Is it you, true, or a fragment you choose to remove in an attempt to be approved? To glimpse beyond the veil. Okay. So that was my poem. I get so shy, honestly, sharing it in front of the camera. I feel like when I'm alone reading it, I say it so confidently, just like in a way that feels more true. But then when the camera is in front of me, yeah, I'm still working through the parts of me, I guess, that do seek validation, that feel the insecurity because there is something within me that, has fears of being perceived in a certain way. It doesn't feel super conscious, but I guess, that's how things work. They're subconscious. So, slowly but surely getting more comfortable with sharing my voice in front of the camera. It's definitely an edge for me, but yeah, that's what this whole YouTube journey is about, is to push that edge, to get more comfortable with that, because I want to grow. And you got to push yourself if you want to grow. So while we're on the topic of creativity today, I feel like it makes sense for me to share a little bit about my personal history or experience with my creativity. First, I want to pour some tea. I encourage you, if you have some tea, to pour some as well, or some sort of beverage. I love tea so much. Talking about inspiration, tea inspires me so deeply. I have this beautiful little tea set.
It's a Niching teapot. Look how pretty. So for me growing up, I really didn't feel like a creative being. I was super insecure in many, many ways, and one of them being where I would just put myself down underneath other people and felt like I was just super inferior in every way, and I really felt like I just wasn't creative. I remember having so many friends that were super fucking creative. They had beautiful singing voices, they were like artistic in some sort of way. Yeah, I would just compare myself to them and feel like I wasn't capable of what they were doing, and I felt a little bit like sad, I guess, that I just felt like I didn't have it in me. And back then I really didn't have like a growth mindset. I really had this mentality where I felt like you either had it or you didn't. And so I kept myself stuck with that mentality for so long. And I remember just, yeah, growing up, like really just feeling like I never expressed myself in that way. Which, side note, I do want to say, like, essentially we are creative beings. So we're constantly creating, like everything we do, we make a meal, whatever we're doing, we're creating in a way. But I do feel like there's more intentional outlets of expression of your creativity. I did do dance growing up. I went to dance classes for a long time, but it felt like a very social environment, and I wasn't like super in it creatively because, once again, I was just comparing myself. So I didn't let my creativity like free flow, you know. And it wasn't really up until the last few years, honestly, like more and more it's opened up, and then the last like couple years my creativity has just like blasted open, and I feel just so inspired in so many ways, and I'm just creating so much, and it feels so fucking good, dude. I feel like that's what this chapter of my life is, to really explore this part of myself. I have so many so many passions. Dance is a very big passion of mine. I love writing. Writing kind of like deep diving into the mind, into patterns, into nature, but also I love writing poetry. Right now I'm exploring the whole world of like making videos and weaving them together, so like kind of like cinematography and photography. And I love decorating. I really love like interior design, kind of like decorating spaces, but also like decorating my human. I really love styling myself, like picking out my outfits. I feel it is such a way to express yourself creatively. Yeah, just so many things. I went through a phase where I was making clothes, contemplating opening up like my own little clothing business. I dance a bit with fire, like rope dart and contact staff, but I haven't been practicing that as much lately. Right now my focus is on belly dance, and then other like free flow dance, like contemporary, and then writing and video creating. That's my focus right now, because I went through the phase the past few years feeling so excited because this part of me has felt shut off for so long. So I just explored so many different things and feel like I spreaded myself kind of thin. So now I'm trying to like hone in and use a little bit more discernment of what I want to pour my energy into, so that I can like grow within these things that I feel really passionate about. And I feel like that is just a part of growing up. When you just get to know yourself more, you experiment, you explore, you follow threads of curiosity, which I feel is still important. Even though I found what I feel more passionate about, I still want to explore curiosity within these spaces and even other spaces. Like in a couple of weeks I'm going to be picking up a flute. I also like writing music and freestyling, like rapping and all of that, but I haven't been too into that in the past year. Yeah, I still want some sort of like music component, a way to express myself musically, and I've always felt a draw towards the flute, so I'm gonna explore that. So I still have that curiosity, yet I just am getting a little bit older. I mean, I'm not super old, I'm 27, but I want to hone in on the things that I know spark me, and I feel like it's important to explore your curiosities, and then within that exploration you start to notice what lights you up, what you feel the most passionate about, and then following that and pursuing that in more depth. So I just share this because I'm sure there's someone else out there that is experiencing or has experienced what I just shared, feeling so closed off creatively, feeling stuck and blocked there. And I mean, I do believe in the chakra system. I believe it's a really useful tool to explore our different ways our energy moves, and also it can get blocked, and in certain configurations in our life can lead to more sacral creative blocks. So I feel that in a way it almost has its own natural progression of loosening, and your creativity may come forth one day, so you don't need to force the process. Yet there's also
also things you can do to stimulate your creativity. I feel that curiosity is a way to stimulate that, to really explore, because maybe you haven't experienced what your passion is yet. Maybe you just need a little bit more exploration, both externally but internally, you know? And I feel the more that I've gotten to know myself deeper, spent time with myself, got curious about myself, journaling, reflecting, and exploring, you know, I've gotten to know myself deeper. And then naturally, as you get to know yourself deeper, I feel that things start to loosen and you start to understand what resonates. So yeah, just explore, get curious, and try to be gentle on yourself. I know that it's not always easy, but now I really do approach my creativity with such an open mind. I don't try to force it into any specific form or structure. As I'm talking about consistency in this video, I really think structure and consistency can be really beautiful, and it can be a creative foundation from which your creativity can flow, meaning having consistency in the way in which you show up and tend to yourself, like showing up every morning and moving my body and meditating, and the consistency within that allows for me to have a solid foundation for my creativity to flow. And yes, I can introduce structure, like set aside time to like sit and journal, to do the things that I feel passionate about, but also you don't need to force it into a certain form. Like you don't need to force your poem to look a certain way. You know, so many of us struggle with this, with the perfectionism. I know that I have and still have moments of it, and when it surfaces, I recognize it and try to introduce a little bit of gentleness to it, noticing when that gripping, when that perfectionism, when that like constriction is coming up. Sometimes when I'm creating and that comes up, because it has sometimes, you know, like learning dance, I'm trying to really train belly dance. I have a hard time with choreography. I really like improv free flow, but the choreography can trigger that perfectionism with me, and at times I can notice my mind getting so frustrated, and then the mental thoughts will come up like, why am I training this? Like, I'm not gonna be good at this. And then I'll feel this clenching energy. Instead of trying to push it away or just power through what I'm doing, I'll take a moment to pause and try to meet myself and meet the energy that I'm noticing coming up, whether that be just breathing or having some more gentle thoughts. I feel that when you show up with presence to that stuckness, it allows it to dissolve and move a little bit more freely. And last thing I want to say on this topic is that don't expect yourself to not have any doubts or insecurities come up. I feel like that's such a natural part of the process. What feels most important is to not allow yourself to be discouraged and shut down by the insecurities and doubts that come up. It's a natural process. When we face stuck spaces, there is that density, that stuckness, those doubts and insecurities that are around that space that we're trying to dissolve, that we're trying to break up, to allow the block to move through. I feel like it's inevitable to face what the block is made of, you know? So I feel that doubts and insecurities will surface. And yes, this can be incredibly frustrating, but also that is how you get to the gold that is underneath the block. You access your gifts, your true essence underneath these blocks, and it is by facing what is blocking them in order to meet that. When we notice the frustration coming up, we don't need to push it away, we can acknowledge it, but we can also help support it in its strength by reminding it that this is a natural part of the process, that we are allowing ourselves to grow by meeting these doubts and insecurities. We're transforming them. Time to drink some more tea and dive into some creative projects. I've been sitting there for quite some time, so it's good for me to have boundaries, which is an important part of creativity, with consistency. When you're trying to be really consistent with your creativity, really putting so much into it, it's good to set boundaries with yourself. Move your body. Like if you were just sitting there doing something for a long time, your body's starting to ache. Like if you push yourself past your limits, you'll end up really starting to not like the thing that you actually deeply love because you're not respecting your own boundaries with it. So that's one important thing to note. And yeah, my body was telling me it's time to get up. So I'm gonna make some cacao. I feel it's so yummy, of course, but it's also beautiful, heart opening, and I feel like that in and of itself can really help you get in touch with your creativity. It is a bit cloudy out, but I have faith that the sun will come out by the time I'm done making cacao. I have such a tiny little bit left of this ceremonial cacao that I got in Guatemala, so I'm gonna use the last of this, I guess. Aside from that, I have cacao powder. This is a Masala cacao that I got. So back when I actually had my own little home, I would have a more intricate cacao configuration, but now I'm nomadic and I'm traveling around, so I just kind of get things in the flow.
So right now I'm going to use cacao, of course, essential ingredient for it. Hot water. I have some coconut milk, maple syrup, which is my favorite, or sometimes I'll use honey. I have chili powder, and then some like bigger sea salt I like to sprinkle on the top. If I had it, I would love to put like tahini in here and some mushroom powders. And sometimes if I'm feeling it, I'll even put banana in my cacao. It gives it a nice taste. It's kind of like a smoothie-esque thing, but I don't usually use a frozen banana, just a regular old banana. Yummy, yummy. And guess who's coming out? The sun. What did I say? So I just found the cutest, coziest little spot to create. Like there was this little patch here, and I was like, why not just put a cushion, bring my cacao and all my journals and my book out, and sit here amongst nature.
You know, sometimes there's moments in life where you're like, wow, little me, like my younger self, would love this so much. I feel like a kid. Like, I found this cozy little nook nestled in the flowers in the garden, and the sun's coming out to say hi. Well, I could cry. I'm sincerely so stoked with this right here. I could cry. Wow, wow, wow. So cute. So cute. So cute. I was just thinking, like, I really do feel like a little fairy right now. Like, whenever I'm just like nestled in the jungle or like in nature, I feel like a fairy. It's so cute. I feel so held, so inspired by all the plants around me. What's really cool is that I'm making this video about finding inspiration with your creativity, and as I'm making it, I'm finding so much inspiration for my own creativity through making this video. So super cool, super, super beautiful. So this is one of the many books that I'm reading right now. I have like 5 books that I'm in the process of. I do that. I like to pick up books when I feel inspired to read them, and I just work through them each as I go, as I feel inspired, instead of like forcing myself through one whole book, which sometimes I will do if that feels good for me, but other times I like to just have a few in the process and I read them as I go. But this book is called Divine Beauty, The Invisible Embrace, which is so beautiful and poetic, and the guy that writes this, John O'Dew, has a really beautiful and poetic way of expressing, so I find it very inspiring. This book is used, so there's someone who read it before me has already underlined a bunch of stuff, so I'm gonna read something that is underlined. It is interesting that true poetic beauty emerges when the poet is absolutely faithful to the uniqueness of her own voice. Beauty holds faith with the deepest signature of individuality. It graces the passion of individuality when it risks itself beyond its own frontiers, out to where the depth of the abyss calls. The danger of that exposure seems to call beauty. Here, the grace of familiarity falls away and repetition arrests. Something original and new wants to come through. Beauty is individual and original, a presence from the source. She responds to the cry of the original voice. I really do love this quote because I feel this when a poet is absolutely faithful to the uniqueness of her own voice. Like truly, I feel that whatever you're sharing and expressing, if it is coming from a space that feels true, that feels authentic, it is so utterly and absolutely beautiful. And I feel that we can all sense this whether or not we're aware of it. When somebody is sharing something, if they're sharing it from a space that is seeking to extract love, you know, in a way, if it's being expressed from a space that feels unlovable, that is trying to get attention. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I'm not, you know, shaming that. We all have spaces where we do that in ways. It's our patterning that's trying to unwind in a way. They're doing some chanting next door. I feel that attention seeking is just something within us that's not being met, that's not being seen with presence, it's not being met by us, and it comes out in sideways ways of trying to draw that from other people, trying to get that from external sources instead of finding that internally in ways that we disconnect from ourselves, so we try to seek it elsewhere. So I feel like when someone is speaking from that space, something deep within us can recognize that, as opposed to when someone is speaking from their heart
when they're expressing from truth and they don't need anything from it. They're just expressing just to simply express. I feel that can be felt, and that is like the most real and raw form of beauty, when we have our own unique voice. And a lot of the times we were shamed for our expression, so we maintain that patterning, that identity that was shamed, and try to contort the way we show up in the world just to be liked, when in reality that which we resist persists, and we actually create the opposite effect of what we truly want. So when we show up in ways that are fake, or more so just not true and authentic, then we actually create more dissonance, because whether or not someone recognizes it on a conscious level, they subconsciously can sense that and feel a lack of safety with that person if they're not showing up truthfully. So I feel that there's so much beauty in this path that we're all walking, trying to find our own voice amongst all of the noise. And we're human, we do this, we make mistakes, we distort ourselves, and then through the process, hopefully we distill what truly feels like us, and we come back home to that and express from that space. Let's find a poem. The conception of you unraveling, this thread moving through time, weaving moment into moment. Some simply fall into place with each lace. Others call into grace, invoking great strength. A snag causes a tear, out falls a tear. My dear, confess to me. It is an act I can see. Underneath you retract, I can see you are afraid. Your thread is frayed. And I promise you, it's okay. It is crucial you face the space in which you struggle to bear weight, for if you choose to turn away, out falls your capacity to weave this intricate tapestry. Through the flame, a thread returns to how, in essence, it remained. You see, through heat, through fire, we allow transformation to take place, the pain to dissipate. Once frayed, now integrate. Allow it to burn, for then, in truth, you return.
I always get so nervous to share my poems, and then after I do, I feel really good. So yeah, that was another poem. The one I shared earlier is very similar. I kind of played around with the similar concept of using the idea of a thread weaving through life, through time. I'm not going to preface or explain my poems too much because I don't really like to do that. I feel like as art, it's really beautiful to allow it to express and resonate in each person's heart in the way that feels best for them. Like their interpretation does something for them. They don't need the explanation. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off and enjoy my little fairy-esque home.
Another big source of inspiration for me, as well as a creative outlet, is getting dressed in the morning. I really love to have fun and get creative with the way that I pair my clothes, the way I wear my clothes, how I piece things together. I love to style my avatar, adorn and decorate my human suit in ways that feel authentic to me. And I planned on sharing this a little bit more in depth in this video, but I didn't quite get around to it. I did just share a video on my channel about this if you want to check it out though.
Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. It's only like 9:30, but I'm so tired. I have been waking up before the sun rises and going to bed around about this time every night, so I tend to get tired pretty early, and I really like that rhythm, to be honest with you. It just feels really good to go to bed early and wake up early. It's what works for me. So I guess this is good night. Thank you so much for watching my video. It really means a lot to me, and till next time.